afternoon. Welcome to the midday news on 3FM 92.7. Coming up this afternoon, Kolebu laboratory staff declare indefinite strike over concerns in the branding of the hospital's central lab. We take you live to the nation's premier teaching hospital as a strike disrupts services. Also this afternoon, academic activities across public universities have been severely hampered by ongoing nationwide strike by Senior Staff Association of Universities of Ghana. And Ashanti Regional Secretary Rexec raises alarm over surge in fire outbreaks as Harmattan intensifies. Later on, Ghana's cocoa regulator, Cocoa Board, likely to return to international market for syndicated loans. We have more coming up shortly. Many thanks for joining us. Let's begin the bulletin now. Medical lab professional workers at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital have begun a sit-down strike today following what they describe as management's failure to address concerns over the administration of the hospital's central lab. The strike is already disrupting health care delivery with general lab services close to the public. Before order was issued directing staff not to engage the media. Now let's quickly go on the phone and talk to my colleague Deborah Abba Mensah. She is colleague at Kolebu. Abba, how is this strike affecting health care delivery?
Okay, so earlier we went round to the unit to assess how this is affecting the patients. And some turned out their frustration coming from very far distance to access healthcare, but facing this challenge. Some are coming all the way from Ashaiman, others, and even from other regions. So they turned out their frustration.
Right, let's listen to the patient.
Because we want for me coffee, we need the restriction. It's because it's here, we buy your motor strike. We need the business that paying see or shake. We need that.
Abba, this clearly must be very worrying for the patients. We know you've also been engaging the chairman. What has he been telling you, especially on their demands and an ultimatum to the health ministry?
Okay, so their demands are...
Hello, Abba, can you hear me? Abba, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Right, speak up for me.
So the plans are, according to the union, a total assessment failure of the hospital management to resolve critical leadership and operational challenges affecting the medical laboratory services. And the union also accused the management of pursuing plans to privatize or outsource the central laboratory without engaging the union as a key stakeholder. So they are demanding that the management, within 7 days of receipt of notice, appoint a qualified head of laboratory services and a substantive laboratory manager. So as we are speaking, they just finished a meeting with the stakeholders, which includes the CEO of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital and also board and the chairman of the hospital board. So they said they have resolved their issues and right now they have called on the strike.
Let's listen to what the chairman has been saying.
The last correspondence to management and to the Minister of Health was that if by today, the 4th of February, we do not see our way clear, if by today, we are not certain of the appointment of the Director of Allied Health, meaning that there will be the creation of the directorate and then the appointment. If by today appointed. If by today we do not see our way clear with the appointment of the central lab manager, we will lay down our tools.
So that was the chairman for the Medical Lab Science Association at Korle Bu, giving the health minister an ultimatum to appoint a head for the Medical Lab Center at Korle Bu and other parts of the country. Let's still stay with industrial action, and it is day one of the nationwide strike declared by Senior Staff Association of Universities of Ghana following the government's failure to address their demands for improved working conditions despite several protests and negotiations. The strike stems from long-standing concerns over conditions of service, including delayed implementation of negotiated agreements, disparities in allowances, and unresolved issues related to salaries and career progression. They say repeated engagement with government and university authorities have failed to yield concrete results, leaving members with no option but to withdraw their services to press home their demands. Let's speak to Joseph Armstrong Gold Alagbe, my colleague. He's been through some public universities and reports that while some members are complying with the directive, others are defying it. Armstrong, paint a proper picture for us what you have seen on your tour so far.
Yeah, so Grace, currently I've been to Unimac, where when I got there, I saw that class was actively in process. I moved from Unimac and I came to the Legon, where I am currently. You see, while some departments or some offices, they've written boldly there that we are on indefinite strike, and with the doors shut, you go to other places like where I am currently, the account office, the students' account office, they are actively working where students that are coming, they are sending to them. So basically, it appears that the strike is not being complied by all senior staff members. I've seen that the leadership of the union is also trying to move from one office to the other to force people to leave their offices because they prefer to strike. So that is currently the situation here. I met some people who have also come from Pioneer to pay some money at the cash office, and then the place is locked. But if you come to the student's account office, it's actively working. Grace.
Did you engage management on why there's this partial enforcement of the strike?
Yeah, so I spoke with the local union chairman here, who tells me it's early days yet, and that it was just yesterday they declared a strike. Hopefully, after today and tomorrow, all their members will understand the need for them to stay home and not to come to work.
Right, Armstrong, thank you for the update. We know that the association is meeting the National Labour Commission for a meeting later today. Did they talk about that to you?
Yeah, they've not mentioned that. I've not even had a chance to have a conversation with the leadership yet. They've been very busy moving from one office to the other office, ensuring that their members comply with the directive. That is exactly what they are doing now. I try to engage them, but they are not willing to grant me an interview yet until they are able to get all their members out from the various offices.
Right, Armstrong, we'll come back to you when you're able to get that detail for us. But yesterday, when we engaged the acting director of the National Labour Commission, she mentioned that there's a meeting between the parties today. We have her SOT. We'll quickly go to the Ashanti region and then listen to what the meeting is going to be about. Let's speak to Daryl Agbozo. He is in the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Daryl, how is the enforcement there in the university?
Good afternoon. Thank you very much, Grace. The strike was actually supposed to happen, but on the look of certain on the university campus, the strike is actually minimal. That is, and yet the president said that the strike is going to affect the cleaning services of the schools, administration, the accounts, basic operations, security, libraries, and also the laboratories of the university. But as of now, university operations are actively going on. Security personnel are actively on campus and saying that safety is going on. Well, libraries open. Some are actually closed, with some remain open, though they are actually on reduced operating hours. And then the teaching and learning activities also continue on at the KNUST Basic School, where people and staff and lessons are actually going on. Visiting the university hospital today, operations actually remained open, where patients were observed moving in and out of the facility. So for now, despite the declaration of the indefinite strike, the overall impact of the activities on the university appears to be minimal.
Right, Daryl, thank you for that report. We'll definitely come back to you when you have any more details on that. Daryl Agbozo, our correspondent, also in the Ashanti region, talking to us about the strike by University Staff Association of Ghana. So let's listen to Dr. Bernice Welbeck. She is the acting executive director of the National Labour Commission on that meeting between the parties.
Yes, they've been invited because we invite them. It is only at the table that the commission can listen to the parties and understand why certain things are not being done or have not been done. Okay. And then if the commission has to issue further directives or take further action, then the commission does that. So that is the purpose of the invitation that has been extended to the parties to appear before the commission. So the meeting is supposed to come on tomorrow. They are here. They have been summoned to appear before in line with the law. Once the meeting is, in fact, they shouldn't have even undertaken.
Dr. Bernice Welbeck is acting executive director of the National Labour Commission. Let us go to Parliament, and if you have dreams of becoming a lawyer, this story will be of so much interest to you. Some members of Parliament have urged caution as government promotes a new bill to decentralize legal education in the country, warning that opening access could likely affect quality of lawyers produced and worsen standards. The new bill, once passed, will move professional legal education and training from the Ghana School of Law to accredited universities, taking away the monopoly. Despite the caution, lawmakers from political divides agree the legislation has come at the right time. Here are excerpts of the debates that ensued on the floor.
It is welcoming that we finally have a bill which is streamlining legal education in this country. It is long overdue, and I say it is very welcoming for the fact that it is going to increase access to legal education. My only concern is that I hope it will not open the floodgates for worse things to happen as we have in some of our neighboring countries.
Access to legal education has been restricted for the past many years. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, many years ago, you walked into the law school from faculty. Times have changed. There's a pinhole now where people get in and cannot come out. Mr. Speaker, this bill seeks to open up legal education.
If you look at the Ghana legal system, it has become like an acquired business for which must be limited to a class or a people, a family, or a kind of court. In other jurisdictions, as I have been, legal education is free to all. But joining a bar association is where the professionals have their way of admitting those who want to practice with them. And if this bill and its reports is in that right direction, then Ghana is meeting up with the world.
Even the General Legal Council had to carry out some reforms in the examination process with a view to introducing some level of accountability, fairness, and justice in the process.
Meanwhile, the Majority Chief Whip Roxy Nelson Dafiamekpo is pushing back against criticisms of the reforms, insisting that the change is long overdue. He argues that the current system is restrictive, shuts out many qualified students, and must be fixed to expand access. He spoke on the Ghana Tonight with Alfred.
The essence of these reforms is to actually enhance the quality, improve the quality, but in doing so, increase access. Because in consonance with Article 25(1) clause, I believe E, we have the fundamental right to have equal access to educational facilities that the nation has to offer. But the current regime constrains that. There have been some problems with the existing regime. For instance, sometime in 2019, the General Legal Council itself saw it necessary to institute an ad hoc committee to look into some complaints of irregularities concerning the admissions that were being done to the law school.
Roxy Nelson, the Fia Mapo, is the majority chief whip. This is the midday news on 3FM 92.7. Let's do some other stories now. The National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat, NIMOS, have clamped down on illegal mining activities on the Pra River. The intelligence-led operation carried through in a joint collaborative efforts with the Blue Water Guards saw officials raid Galamsey's at Ofuasi, Auna, and Nsese villages in the eastern region. Upon arrival at the river, the team encountered approximately 50 illegal miners who were actively engaged in illegal mining activities directly on the river. On sighting the task force, the illegal miners abandoned their operations and swam across the river to the far bank near Nsese village to evade arrest. Subsequently, the joint task force proceeded to dismantle and destroy all equipment found at the site. In total, 57 dredging chamfang platforms and 50 gold washing platforms were destroyed. 150 chamfang machines on the riverbed were burnt. Several pipelines and water hoses directly connected to the river and used for mining operations were also destroyed. And recent analysis of the 2025 West African Senior School Certificate Examination WASSCE results has highlighted ongoing challenges in core subjects, including mathematics, integrated science, and social studies. While some subjects saw marginal improvement, the overall performance patterns reveal systemic issues in instructional quality, examination preparedness, learning resources, and supervision across regions and school types. In response, education stakeholders are urging the Ministry of Education and the Ghana Education Service to implement a coordinated evidence-based strategy to improve student outcomes ahead of WASSCE 2026. Key areas of focus include ensuring full curriculum coverage, strengthening teacher capacity through targeted training, introducing remedial programs for high-risk subjects, and improving monitoring and accountability for school leaders and education authorities. We are working the phone to speak to the Institute for Education Studies. When we are able to speak to him, we'll bring you updates on that story. But while at it, the Member of Parliament for Ketu North, Eric Edemagbana, has reaffirmed government's commitment to compensate property owners whose properties are marked for demolition to pave way for the construction of the Ho to Toko Road. This follows agitations from several affected individuals in Joje and other parts of the municipality who have raised concerns over the lack of compensation and resettlement plans. Speaking to the media during a tour by the Volta MP caucus, the Ketu North MP said plans are underway to fully compensate the affected people.
We had a town hall meeting with all the property owners of a sort, involving the property owners and other stakeholders, and there is clear communication on the way forward regarding the issues of compensation. So I must say those concerns were raised in the past, but currently everyone is relaxed because they are sure that government will come in.
Ketu North MP Edemagbana. This is the media news on 3FM 92.7. We are back shortly after this break. Stay with us.
Love doesn't always end. Sometimes it just pauses, needs some rekindling, needs a spark, or sometimes it needs some testing. This February, 3FM brings you 3 Lounge Connection with AJ Sapon, a Love Month special segment creating space for exes, lovers, or potential lovers to reconnect, test, rekindle, or allow new sparks to form. It's real stories, real relationships, real moments, emotions, and real love conversations. Are you yearning for a chance with that special someone? Then 92.7 3FM's 3 Lounge Connection is your chance as we reconnect the dots of love. Send us a text on 0532 200 927 or 0556 554 833 and let's reconnect the dots of love together from the 2nd to the 13th of February from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. every weekday. 3 Lounge Connection on 3FM 92.7, where hearts bound and sparks fly again. Join us, give love a chance from the 2nd to the 13th of February and every weekday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. with AJ Sapon on 3FM 92.7 all throughout the love month of February.
It has always been a journey of Pan-Africanism and consciousness. It is your regular taxi driver with the urban blend and 3FM 92.7 in living stereo every day, Monday to Friday from 12:30 p.m. till 3 p.m. This is the show everybody listens to, so your business will certainly do well here. My name, Black Rasta. I am the rootical, hairtical, Don Gargan, Mua Fire. Come forward. Atinga ya chika fankare, Azure ya chika fankare, Abama ta chika fankare.
3FM, your urban lifestyle radio.
Welcome back. This is the media news on 3FM 92.7. Let's do some other stories now. And Ghana's cocoa regulator, Cocoa Board, says it is looking at new ways of financing cocoa purchases in the country. And this is as a result of locked up funds of some cocoa farmers who are demanding payment. Let's listen to Dr. Randy Abe, director of Cocoa Board.
So we are thinking through the solutions. As I speak to you, I mean, our forecast for the crop for the 2025-2026 season was 650,000 tons. That's the projection. As I speak to you, we have already graded and sealed, that is bought, about 580,000 tons. So we've done about 90% of the crop forecast already. Like I said, we are not in the era where Cocoa Board took a syndicated facility and gave seed money to the LBCs to go and buy. Now you have a situation where the buyers or the off-takers are those who finance the crop. And at the current prices, they find Ghana's crop too expensive. And therefore, they have moved.
Okay.
But I'm saying that we have done about 580,000 already. Now, we need to take a decision because it is the buyers who are financing the crop. They are finding the crop at 4,200 and 4,300 in other jurisdictions around us.
CEO of Cocoa Board, Dr. Randy Abe there. Let's do some other stories now. And the Institute of Economic Affairs, IEA, has rejected government's proposal of sliding scale mineral royalty regime, saying it doesn't fit Ghana's deeper mining sector problems. The think tank argues the Lands Ministry is clinging to an outdated colonial-era royalty system that continues to keep Ghanaians poor. The IEA is calling instead for a new mining policy based on national ownership and stronger local participation. According to former Chief Justice Sophia Kufu, assertions that Ghana lacks the technical capacity to manage its resources are unfounded. Let's listen to her.
IEA has noted with deep concern the provisions contained in the draft Minerals and Mining Royalty Regulations 2025. Currently before Parliament. The said draft regulations maintain the colonial royalty-based regime with either a sliding scale or capped system. The Minister of Lands and Natural Resources is still propagating the old colonial royalty-based paradigm.
A distinguished member of the IEA, the Comptroller General of the Ghana Immigration Service, Samuel Amadou Basintali, says discussions are underway with the government of Niger to curb the influx of citizens who have become a nuisance on Ghana's streets. He made a closure when he received 20 pickup vehicles from the Interior Minister, Muntaka Mubarak Mohammed, to boost the service's operations. In May last year, the Ghana Immigration Service conducted raids across Accra, detaining over 2,200 undocumented foreign nationals, primarily from Niger, who were involved in street begging. Since that exercise, the issue has persisted, with more of these beggars still on the streets of Accra and other major towns across the country. The Comptroller General of the Ghana Immigration Service, Samuel Amadou Basintali, stressed that the growing presence of these beggars is a serious concern and measures are being taken to address it.
This issue of beggars that you find, it is our border communities. You know, per the ECOWAS protocol, they live in these communities and the next day they are on the streets. Ghanaians are hosting them in their homes. And that is what we are talking about. In their country, begging is not an offense, but it is here. And as we speak today, we all know the challenges in Niger. Most of them are Nigerians. They are actually fleeing from real founded fear. The only challenge is the streets that they stand to beg. But we are looking at a solution to it. Yes, we have been talking to the Nigerian government on how best to handle them, because take it or leave it, they are ECOWAS nationals and they are entitled to be here.
That was Comptroller General of the Ghana Immigration Service, Samuel Amadou Basintali. Before we go, President Mahama has directed the National Investigations Bureau to immediately investigate allegations of corruption into the award of foreign scholarships. The decision by the presidency follows allegation by the former CEO of the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program, NEIP, Kofi Owusu-Kansah, that current officials under the Mahama administration are selling scholarships to the tune of 100,000 cedis. A video which has gone viral on social media platforms has, according to the presidency, caught public attention, demanding a swift and thorough investigation in accordance with the government's stance against corruption and its commitment to transparency. And that's it for the midday news on 3FM 92.7. Came to you from our studios here at Adesawi, Kanda, Accra. My name is Grace Hammoah Agyemang. We have business coming up shortly. Stay with us.
Hello there, good afternoon and welcome to Business Daily on 3FM 92.7. Coming up, inflation hits historic low of 3.8% in January 2026 from the 5.4% recorded in December 2025.
This sustained decline signals that Ghana is firmly on a path towards price stability.
And Ghana Insurance Association president calls for radical transparency to fix insurance trust gap. We have details of these and many other stories lined up for you. I am Michael Obodu. Please stay tuned. Thank you so much for your time. Now, Ghana's economy has reached a significant milestone as headline inflation plummeted to 3.8% in January 2026. This marks the lowest inflation rate the country has seen since the rebasing of the Consumer Price Index in 2021 and signifies a 13th consecutive monthly decline in price growth. According to the latest data released by the Ghana Statistical Service, the disinflation process accelerated significantly at the start of the year. Let's listen to government statistician Dr. Al-Hassan Idrisu.
Prices were 3.8% higher in January 2026 than they were in January 2025. On a month-on-month basis, inflation was 0.2%, meaning prices increased by 0.2% between December 2025 and January 2026. The January 2026 inflation rate of 3.8% is significant for several reasons. First, it is down from the 5.4% recorded in December 2025, representing a 1.6 percentage point decline in 1 month. Second, it marks the 13th consecutive month of decline in inflation. Third, it is the lowest inflation rate recorded since the CPI rebasing in 2021. And finally, when we compare this figure to what occurred the same period last year, which is a year ago, that's January 2025, when inflation stood at 23.5%, we see a 19.7 percentage point reduction in inflation. This sustained decline signals that Ghana is firmly on a path towards price stability.
So that was government statistician Dr. Al-Hassan Idrisu speaking. Now, President of the Ghana Insurance Association, Boatema Bafo-Ewa, has issued a candid assessment of the nation's insurance sector and identifying a deep-seated trust deficit fueled by complex technicalities and poor public communication. Speaking on the state of the industry, Bafo-Ewa admitted that the insurance sector must take responsibility for its role and the public's skepticism.
I think trust is a challenge because they don't understand the terms and conditions when it comes to insurance. And I think from our end as well as insurers, we haven't done too well in explaining to them exactly what the policies cover. So for us, one of my main things is public education and explaining to them the terms and conditions. Sometimes through technicality, your claim is rejected. So we need to be able to educate everybody to know what exactly it contains in the policy that you are buying. Even when it comes to claims, you are required certain documentations to present, and oftentimes people do not have those documentations. So there is perceived trust issues. However, if we as insurers are able to educate them properly on what the policy is meant to do, and also when it comes to claims, because for us, we do sell claims. So we need to ensure that we have all the proper details to give to our clients so that when it is time for claiming for an insurance policy, it is not a big deal and they can do that.
You hear the president of the Ghana Insurance Association, Boatema Bafo-Ewa. Now, Ghana's overall business readiness shows mixed results according to the Be Ready Ghana 2026 assessment, which identifies bottlenecks and solutions for accelerating the 24-hour delivery. The report places Ghana's performance at 72% in financial services, but just 34% in market competition.
Across all indicators, the country scored 69 points for regulatory framework and 50 points for public services, both ranking in the top 60% of measured economies. Operational efficiency, however, was lower at 52 points, placing Ghana in the bottom 40%. Financial services emerged as a relative strength with well-developed regulations for secure transactions and electronic payments. Labour also performed strongly, scoring 71 points and placing Ghana in the top 20% globally. Effective dispute resolution mechanisms were cited as helping job reallocation and productivity, but market competitiveness remains a major weakness. With only 34 points, Ghana ranks in the bottom 20% of economies assessed. The report calls for stronger enforcement of competition law, including greater investigative and sanctioning powers for the competition authority, as well as improved merger review capacity.
Ghana scored low on some things, but higher on some other things. I think overall it fared fairly well, but there are some areas such as competition, and that's where there's a desire to increase competition policy, market access, and improve greater market access for both exporters, but also increased opportunities for the value addition on the import substitution.
So that was Senior Country Manager of the International Finance Corporation, IFC, Kyle Kelhafer, ending that report. Let's bring you more stories now. And a founding member of the Ghana-Israel Chamber of Commerce, Kennedy Okusun, has urged Ghana to draw lessons from Israel's approach to agriculture to support year-round farming and improve food security. Despite its vast arable land, Ghana largely relies on seasonal rain-fed agriculture, limiting output and leaving food production vulnerable to climate variability. Speaking at a post-Regal Influence Summit press engagement, Okusun said Israel had built a resilient and productive agricultural sector despite challenging climate and ecological conditions, added that Ghana could adapt similar technologies and practices to boost local food production.
The advancement of agriculture in Israel, I can say without being an Israeli, without being a Jew, that quite seriously, if you are an agric and you're not learning from the Israelis, you're making an error. If you go to Israel, the land is part desert, and the part which is not desert is not very friendly land in terms of agric farming. But they grow everything. In Israel, you can get the temperature as high as about 45 degrees. You could get 50 degrees Celsius in the summer. But the agricultural business is all year long, without prejudice to weather, without prejudice to... They do a lot of greenhouses. And here they have set up greenhouses for local entrepreneurs who are in agric business in Ghana. And they can grow any crop.
So that was founding member of the Ghana-Israel Chamber of Commerce and founder of CRIF Foundation, the organizer of the Regal Influence Summit, Kennedy Okusun, bringing an end to Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7. For more stories, please check out our website as 3news.com/business. I am Michael Lobodu. Thank you for tuning in. As always, please stay safe.